When was the last time you took a leap of faith, trusting that everything is going to work out? Do you crave growth, or are you merely content with the status quo? If you want more out of your life, out of your career, and out of your relationships, you are in the right place. Take the leap and discover how to create a life by design rather than living it by default. Real success starts with you. Now here's your host, Colleen Biggs.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap. I am your host, Colleen Biggs, as always. And, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm getting a little older in time. And with that age comes the contemplation of what is going to happen to my family when I'm gone. What are they going to remember about me? What are they going to know that I've accomplished? I remember at my 50th birthday party, a whole bunch of my clients got together and friends, and they created this beautiful video of messages to me and how I impacted their life, which to me was like, I cried through the whole thing. I couldn't believe how much I had impacted their life. My children were there. My grown adult children were there, my grandkids, and we're all watching this. And I just remember one of them looking at me and saying, I had no idea what you did for a living. I had no idea the impacts that you had made. And I, sitting on the couch crying, had no idea the impacts I had made. So imagine what your family doesn't really know about your life and the life that you've led and this legacy now that you're leaving behind. So today's episode is completely going to be all about how you leave your legacy at any age, or maybe even you help your mother-in-law or father-in-law or mom or dad or brother or sister that's aging to leave their legacy. And Natalie McQueen is here. She has just this it's an amazing story. I hate even to use the word fantastic because it was a near-death experience. There's nothing fantastic about that. But I do believe that God offers us experiences that lead us in the right direction, in the right path of how we need to impact other people's lives. So we're going to learn all about that today when Natalie comes on here in a few minutes. But first, I would love to thank our sponsor, Peaceful Living. Why do we allow stress to compound in our lives, affecting our sleep and our daily rituals? The truth is we all live with stress, but imagine what it would feel like to not suffer from stress. Ooh, I like that. Are you ready to feel better, sleep better, and change your overall relationship with tension? Okay, I can totally vouch that I use all of her series of online on demand, and my muscles feel so much better because I do a lot of the stretching with her. Peaceful Living can help you bring more peaceful moments into your day. Peaceful Living offers simple tools, live stream and on-demand classes as a customized self-care success plan. Imagine if you had simple ways to slow down and restore your energy without taking big chunks of time away from your schedule. Because no one got that, right? We don't got that. We know it's possible. We're here to help. And the founder, Roberta Hughes, will be your guide each step of the way. So visit Peaceful Living at the link we have here for you to begin your journey with a free membership. You can use code LEAP to receive your first month for free. How wonderful is that? And by the way, her online community is $36 a month, and you have an unlimited over 200 videos at your fingertips. It's cheaper than my Lululemon mirror for you to be able to have unlimited. And my husband loves her classes because she has this soft tone to her voice, and we do a lot of yin yoga with her. And I'm saying, we're talking about aging. Stretching's a thing right now. You got to keep those muscles long and lean. Just saying. So let's get to our guest that we have today. And thank you, Peaceful Living, for being our sponsor on today's show. Natalie McQueen is the founder of Gifts of Legacy, a best-selling author. She's a publisher and director of international best-selling marketing with Elite Publications. She's certified in mindset mastery. That's amazing. And the Create Your Legacy speaker and coach. Her powerful best-selling marketing techniques have successfully brought over 400 authors to the #1 bestseller ranking. And I don't want to get into her near-death experience, but she's now on a mission at Gifts of Legacy to empower families for generations to create, live, and preserve their gift of worthy life well lived. I love that, Natalie. Well said. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to be here. And I love your community and all you do for the women.
Oh, thank you so much. We're so excited to have you as part of the LEAP community. And for those of you who are like, what's the LEAP community? I don't know. Maybe you've been under a rock. So you can just go to ColleenBiggs.net and go to community and find out all about that, because we're all about your visibility for you to be seen and be heard and be visible. And that's what Natalie is on a mission to do right now. She needs to make sure that everybody out there has an opportunity to learn, right? It's about educating, has an opportunity to learn what it would be like to leave your legacy, to have your legacy remembered, to have your legacy captured, to have your legacy organized, right?
Right.
Oh my gosh. Someone said to me the other day when I was in a mini retreat, actually with Roberta Hughes, it was her mom, and she said, her sister's husband passed away, and her sister is angry at them because she can't be angry at him because he's passed away,
Right.
because he left everything in disarray. And she is so angry that now she's taking it out on her sisters, and she's in her 80s, and her sister's like, I just really wish she would not be angry at us. It's a real thing. I sat and listened to an individual say this to me, and you know who I thought of, Natalie? You.
Yeah.
Right in that moment was
Well,
you.
my motto is don't leave a mess, leave a legacy. And it's true. If you choose to not do the things that need to be done to make your family's job after you're done easy, you're stressing them out. You're often confrontations, often family breakups. It's insane.
I think there's two sides to this, because when we were at our daughter's house on Mother's Day, my husband and her must have been talking something about, I don't know, death or wills, and she looked at me and said, do you have everything outlined, like what goes where? And do you especially have everything outlined of what we're supposed to do with you if you start getting dementia or can't think for yourself or need medical care? And I said, I don't know if we've outlined it to that degree. And that's part of that legacy's organized, right? So Natalie, let's go back, because you were like a #1 publisher, and you published hundreds of books, over 400 authors you brought to #1 bestseller. That was what you did. And you were in the background, and that was your thing. And you loved it, which is amazing because you're bringing so much of other people's work into the world. But what happened to you on that day of your vacation that just completely shifted your life?
Yeah, so you're exactly right. I was in the background pushing everyone to tell their story, be authentic, get out there. And I was sitting comfortably in the back. My family, we went to on vacation in Cuba, and I ended up, and it was at night, being sucked in an undertow down under the cliff. So the rescuers couldn't even see me because I was under the cliff's edge. And I actually fought for my life for over an hour. And within that time, like, you hear so many people's near-death experiences and your life flashes before your eyes and stuff. And I didn't have exactly that. I had visions of the people having to deal with this situation, having to, my parents bearing a child, my husband being a widow and having to take me home in a casket from Cuba, and telling our daughters, mom's not coming home.
Yeah.
So all of that, kind of went through my head, and that gave me the drive to keep fighting, because I just remember my lungs were just burning like I've never felt something like that. And I was starting to black out. When, at that point, where I don't know what happened, but it gave me that burst of, I need to keep fighting. And the problem was that I wasn't getting a full lung full of air. So anyway, fighting for over an hour. And then I ended up kind of being washed to the right of the cliff. And I came out on the other side where they saw me and rescued me. So there's a lot more details and stuff.
So you
shared in my
suffered for
book.
an hour. Now, were you drowning? Were you completely under the water and stuck?
Well, I was being washed out and then pulled back in and smashed into the rocks. So I was, I've got lots of nice scars to remember that. But, you come out of it in gratitude. You're like, okay, it wasn't my time. Thank God. Oh my gosh, I'm here with my family. And it wasn't till about 2 weeks later that it really hit me. And I said, if I wouldn't have survived, the impact, the lack of preparation in my part, all my family pictures, all my writing, everything that's in my computer. My husband, I can barely get in my computer password half the time because I'm changing it. He's not going to get into it. So all of those pictures would go away. Having those final messages to your family or the important people, do they know how much you love them? And what's really sad is at that point, I realized I needed to get the message out that I couldn't be the only one going through this and feeling unprepared, having all the pieces together. And I'm talking important document pieces, but then also those heart-centered, the messages, maybe a ring that was passed down from 2 generations and you were going to give it to a daughter or something, and what you brought up, would they know? Would I want a funeral? Would I want a celebration of life? Would I want like church type music, or would I want a party?
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, even when you get toward the end of your life, I think it's, my mother-in-law is struggling to remember a lot. She'll be 91 in July. And every single sibling in the family, and I'm an in-law, okay, she's my mother-in-law,
right,
has a different opinion on her care. We'll just leave it at that.
Anyone asked her? Or she isn't able to maybe make that decision. But so wouldn't it
not able to make that decision? And that's the goal of having something written now when we know, and we're not going to exactly know what it's going to be like 30 years from now or whatever. But if you were to at least say to your family, listen, I said to my family, I don't want any of you to take on the burden of needing to care for me in your home. So if it gets to that point and you don't want to put me in a home somewhere where I can be around other people and you want to care, at least have care come in for me so it's not a burden on you. I never want it to change your life or have it be a burden. No mom.
So right there, you just took the guilt they would have
off of them, because it's like, this was mom's wishes, right? This is what mom wanted. And you don't want your child bathing you or, wiping your butt or, these are just things I think of, right? I don't want them to have to go through that, because you want them to still see you as like that mother figure and not like a child. Right. Going back the opposite direction. So I'm assuming that is what we would call legacies organized, right? This is where you get everything organized, and you have a piece of your business where you do that.
Yeah. So one of the things when I started looking into, who are the people that my idea would be good for? And then the more I looked, there's 60% of the world will go to the grave with their wisdom and life experiences undocumented and unsaved. And that is, the wills, the final wishes, the computer passwords. So think about this one. This one really got me. How many pictures are on our phones and goes up to the cloud.
Google
Right?
Pictures, Google
Apple,
Photos. Yeah.
all those, right? So first of all, most of us just have it on automation because it's easy. We don't go in and pay that each month. It just comes out.
Yeah. And by the way, you pay for cloud. It's not free.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so you're paying every month.
Yeah.
Well, if your family didn't know that that was coming out of that account and they just shut that account down after, you pass, Apple's not going to go, hey, I'm going to hang on to these because I know this is a lifetime of photos and really important memories.
No.
It's gone. A couple payments missed, gone. And I partnered with a company that you purchase, it's a one-time purchase of your storage. They do not compress your photos, and they guarantee your lifetime and 100 years, and you must have a beneficiary on the account. So if you pass, they know. And the cool thing is I've learned how to organize the accounts that you can have individual folders. So if you wanted to do heartfelt messages, even in a Zoom like this, then you can tag who that goes to. Is it your whole family? Is that just for your daughter? Is that your daughter and son? Is that your husband? And you can have ones that are more than one person on that, we'll say folder.
Yeah.
Or it can be a private folder that one person is a beneficiary on. And that could be your wills, your final wishes, your password list and everything. So there's so many ways to just do the little things. How many of us have, and I'm still guilty, boxes of pictures of baby pictures and
I do. Probably only our age and my mother-in-law. I know she does. Like my mother-in-law, just as an example, because it's what we're going through right now. She has books and books and books and books, just room full of books. And one of my daughters said, like,
books,
I would just
photo albums,
and books.
Yes.
She said, I would love to be able to get some of Nana's books, and I said, you should go over and spend time with her and go through some of the books and the ones that you really feel are something, because this daughter of mine has an incomplete library. That's a big deal to her. The other daughters, they don't care, but that's a big deal to her. Yeah. And so I said, sit with her, go through books and ask her if you can have some of her books so that you have that as a memory of capturing that moment with her and your daughter spending time with her, as well as that book, because now you'll be able to pass that down generation to generation. But if she doesn't go through that with her, or if it's not outlined anywhere, who knows who's going to go through the house, and where the books will
end up. Or just get rid of it because it may not be important to someone.
To that person,
yeah.
So you have this, I love that, by the way, that you can capture that. And I'm thinking, like, I need to do that, Natalie. And then I can go over and visit with my mother-in-law and just take videos every week and upload them up to this, where the family could have access to it.
In the meantime, when you go through those pictures, there's going to be a couple pictures that you'll be like, oh my gosh, I remember that day. So here's where you press record, you show that picture, and you tell the story of that day. Because often, like, think about it. Say it's a picture of you and your daughter, and she was just a baby and you're holding her. To your daughter, she may look and go, oh, I was such a cute baby. Maybe for you, that was the first doctor's appointment you had to get to with a newborn by yourself, and you forgot the diaper bag, and then she threw up all over you in the car. Like, it could be such a memory for you, or just that, the feelings. Like, I remember being a new mom and just being like, oh my gosh, I created this. This is so amazing. They don't know those feelings, right?
Yeah.
It's not, and half the time they don't care.
That's true. That's so
now,
true. Yeah.
But
yeah.
In the future they will. I have spoke with quite a few people that have been told that they were terminal. And this is where, if you haven't done something and you do get news like that, there's ways that you can be part of your children's life for, as many years as you can.
Mhm.
And an example would be, you could go out and get birthday cards for the next 10 years and write a message to, the child.
Mm.
And it will be given to them every year, or make a birthday message, or read them their favorite book on video.
Yeah.
That can be passed down for generations.
Why does it take a terminal diagnosis? And then all of a sudden, they have this time, and then they spend that time putting their life together and getting everything together.
Right.
Those are the ones that I see are really good at getting the legacies captured, the
Right.
legacies organized, the legacies remembered.
Yep.
When we are in a situation like yours, where you and your husband are just on vacation and you're down in Cuba and it's an accident or something happens, and then you don't come back, let's say,
Right.
that's when it's not organized, because in our minds, we think we have this infinity of time and I don't need to do
Exactly
it
right.
now. But then
Yeah.
I thought to my husband, you and I travel a lot together.
Yeah.
What happens if you and I both go down? No one knows. Like, I know what he's got. He knows what I have. But if we both went down,
Right.
the
Yeah.
family wouldn't have a clue. And we had an uncle in our family, him and his wife were driving. They live up in Snowflake, Arizona, and they both died suddenly in a head-on collision.
Oh, that's sad. Yeah.
Now the family's left to figure out,
And with
because
a lot
I
of
don't,
stress.
right. Yeah.
And
That's the
little
point we're
things
really
like-
trying to make too,
Yeah. So you may think, oh, we have life insurance. We have this. Where's the contact information? Who should they talk to? Where's, where are the account numbers?
Yeah.
Or where's the phone number to even contact whoever?
Right.
So it's the little things that you can just gather together and make it easy. So that's when I wrote my book,
Yeah.
Gifts of Legacy, the Ultimate Blueprint for Generations to Enjoy. And it's my near-death story. But then we did a legacy book for my grandmother. And this was such a beautiful book. And if you have multiple siblings, and so my grandma will be 104 in August. So I said to her, Grandma, we're going to be coming to visit. And she goes, oh, well, I don't think I'll be around. My hip's kind of hurting. I'm like, it's only a few months, Grandma.
My hip is hurting.
But when she was turning 100, we did this beautiful book for her. She had 8 children and one had passed. But the husband of my aunt wrote her chapter. And so they each wrote a chapter of just, what life was like growing up with my grandma. And then the spouses wrote a little blurb. And then the grandchildren, all of us, wrote a bit. And then she was very active in her church. So we got well wishes of just happy birthday and just friendship messages. And we put all those in the back. And then I got, my grandma lives in assisted living. So I got them to help get on a Zoom, which was like almost impossible, but we did it. So I kind of interviewed my grandma. And so I put that at the very back of the book. So we have those words forever. And it's such, my parents went and asked specific questions that I gave them to interview my grandma. And that's the first part of the book. So the first part of the book is just my grandma's words about her life and kind of taking them through the history, and then all the kids. So it was an amazing book. And at that point I was like, other families need this. And even at the birthday party, so many people were saying, wow, I wish I would have done that for my grandma. And the stories are gone,
So is that the legacies captured piece?
Yeah. So it's create your legacy.
Yeah.
Live your legacy.
Got it.
Then preserve your legacy. So most times, and that was me before Cuba, you're just on the hamster wheel of life. You go to work, you do your thing, may not be bad at all. Maybe it's your passion, maybe it's not.
Yeah, you're just living life.
The grind, right?
Yeah.
And
you could be really happy living your life, and you're successful and you make a lot of money and you travel and you go on vacation, and then boom, an accident happens, you've never taken the time to step back to plan what happens when something happens to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what I found talking to people is a lot of people are in that hamster wheel of life and they're not living their passion. They're not plan, or they say, someday I want to go to Europe. Someday I want to skydive. Someday. And that someday may not come if you don't plan for it.
Yeah.
So I help people kind of reflect on all the areas of their life.
I love that.
And then I call it a legacy list. It's similar to a bucket list.
Yeah.
Put everything you want to accomplish. Like, what do you want to be remembered for? And I give an example because people will say, oh, I want to be like remembered, a very helpful person in the community. Well, if you don't leave your house and you don't get out in the community, that's not going to happen.
That's right.
So that's really something important. Then you need to work towards it. You know, start volunteering once for a week.
Yeah. You and Julie Jones need to partner up.
I know. When I first heard her talk, I was like, what?
The two of you need to partner up, because I think you could really work together, and she could help a lot of individuals get to you to do what they need to do to prepare and organize and capture and do all of that. Right. Because she's all about getting them off of that wheel and making those choices. And she's actually doing a Working Genius workshop today here locally. She's in Scottsdale doing a Working Genius workshop. And it's all about, being in your genius for productivity and doing the things that really are part of what you naturally do really, really well versus your frustrations, So the two of you.
I had never heard someone use the hamster wheel of life. I had a presentation that I did probably a year and a half ago, and I created the hamster wheel. I put a person in there and everything. And so when she said that, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to talk to this lady. And then I've had a couple chances to hear her speak.
She's such a good friend of mine. She's really close in our community. She actually runs the in-person events that we have here in Arizona for the LEAP community. So we'll have to see you out there. She'll be gone in June. I'll be running that one by myself, but she usually runs the in-person networking one. So it's a lot of fun. You've got to come out. Okay. So you have, what do you have on like Amazon? You've got your book. So
I have my book. I have a whole line of journals for mother, father, grandmother, grandfather.
What are the name of those journals?
Gifts of Legacy.
Gifts of Legacy. I don't think we had the links for those. So I just want to make sure. If you
look up on Amazon, if you just look up Natalie McQueen. And go to my book, then you'll see Gifts of Legacy.
Got it.
In my Amazon author page. All the journals are there too.
So Natalie McQueen is who you want to follow on Amazon, so you can get the rest of those. So you can get a journal. You can, get one of the journals to take over to a family member and maybe start asking them questions and capturing, their legacy. That would be a really fun thing. I just keep thinking that'd be a fun thing for me to do. I was waiting for those journals to be ready so I could get on there and get those.
Yeah, they're very nice.
So where can people find you, Natalie? I know that you've sparked a lot for someone today. There isn't anyone that's immune to this. Sorry, you're not. You're like, I have living benefits. I have life insurance. I have, all of my emails and account numbers and passwords set up so someone, knows it. My husband has it on his computer. Do I know the password is computer? No. He shared the document with me, which means I have it. But if his business accounts weren't up and running and he wasn't paying them every month, or their money wasn't in there and something got shut down, then he would lose his Google Drive, which means I would lose access to that spreadsheet. But you don't think about that when you're mourning. No. So if something were to happen to your spouse, the last thing you're thinking of is passwords and emails and accounts and money and what's in the bank. Nobody's thinking about that.
And in our world, we're going into crypto, and crypto is so, it's 24 passwords per account, not one. So you're not guessing 24 passwords, and that money is then gone. Yeah. So it's very important, and it's beyond the passwords. Yeah. And that's, it will probably be another month or so. And I will have, a book that walks you through exactly
That's why you need to follow her on Amazon. So follow Natalie McQueen on Amazon. And then where should they reach out to you? Did you say that you want them to connect with you?
Yeah. So if you're interested in leaving a legacy story, we have 3 books that we're looking for 52 authors per book. And it's Legacies Remembered, Words of Wisdom to Your Younger Self. So that's going to be such an enlightening book of, helping people not make the same mistakes you made.
Yeah.
Then Legacies Awakened. What do you do daily to live your passion? How are you living the life you want to live? And then Legacies Captured, Your Mark in the World. And Colleen, this would be perfect for you because beyond, if you weren't here, a lot of things that you have helped people will continue to help people.
Yeah.
And so what have you done, your mark in the world, that will live beyond you?
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's even something for us to contemplate today. What are we doing that will live beyond us today? What does that legacy look like? And all of those, should they just like DM you on LinkedIn? Should they find, because we have your LinkedIn,
so probably or Facebook.
Okay.
The Create Your Legacy Facebook page.
Okay.
Join that.
Okay.
And if you want to take a look at the series, that one is liveyourbestlegacy.com.
Okay. liveyourbestlegacy.com to check out the series. You can join the Facebook group, Create Your Legacy, which is a Facebook group. There's also a Gifts of Legacy on Facebook that you can follow. Is that a group or is that a page?
Yeah.
They can follow that.
It's a group. That's where you'll see some of our authors publish. You'll see some interviews.
Yeah. Y'all should be on LinkedIn by now, because if you're not on LinkedIn, go create an account. This is where you're going to get great visibility. No, I know you are. I'm telling my listeners, go connect with her on LinkedIn. And she's Natalie McQueen. You can't miss her. Gifts of Legacy. And when you get out there, DM her and say, hey, I heard you on the Take the Leap podcast, and either tell her how amazing it is that she survived and what she's doing and, has really taken this path, or, talk to her, find out how you can utilize anything that she's doing to assist you in your life, so that you're either capturing someone else's legacy in your life right now, or you're feeling more organized in case something was to happen to you. Every single time I talk to Natalie, I get poked. Every single time, like, Colleen, you've got to get this together. I'm guilty of it just like everyone else, because I haven't gotten a terminal illness that tells me I need to organize it. Well,
to speed it up, right?
Speed it up. Yeah,
exactly.
And everyone needs to be on notice here. Come on, we've got to do this. Every single one of us, no matter what age you are. So, Natalie, it was wonderful having you on the show today. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening and being guided to do what you do today. I've just really, really, really enjoyed having you in the community, and you're just such a beautiful spirit. So thank you for everything. Thank you for everything that you do.
Appreciate you and your community.
Yeah. Oh, and I mailed your journals yesterday, so they're on their way to you as well. So those will be coming very, very soon. I can't wait. Excited for that. And I just want to remind all of you on the show today, you're the only you that's ever been. This is very appropriate for today. You're the only you that will ever be. There is no other you. So how are you going to leave your legacy? How are you going to make that mark? How do you want to be remembered? How do you want to capture your time here? And most of all, how do you want your family to take care of things when you're gone? I mean, honestly, don't put the burden on them. Don't, create arguments, anger, all these things that you don't know will exist when you're gone. Don't do that to your family. Take care of your affairs, get yourself organized, do what you need to do. Natalie is a great guide for all of this. She's got her hands in anything that has to do with legacy. So she's one you definitely want to connect with. Natalie, thank you again so much for being on today's show. And to all of you, thank you so much for your loyalty, for making us the top 3% global podcast. Thank you again. And be sure to share this podcast with a friend that you think would really enjoy our week after week guests that are going to give you advice on your business, on your life, so you can really design it the way that you want it to be. So bye-bye for now, and we will see you next week. Take care.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed our show today, as our guests shared their secrets on designing their life by taking the necessary leaps to expand their influence and attract the right people and clients into their lives. To start these easy steps for yourself, be sure to visit www.colleenbiggs.net/freebies to download the 7 ways to increase your exposure today.